Welcome to
Introverts, Own Your Voice. I'm Tom Marcoux.
And I'm Johanna McLeod.
This episode is about how you can enhance your charisma to get people to say yes. Johanna, when's a time where you felt that you were charismatic and people were cooperative with you?
One time I did it was when I did my first workshop. People really got into it and I was really pleased.
What do you think about your charisma or your approach made it that people connected with you?
I was serving as a guide. There wasn't anything about ego.
Powerful point. Really terrific. And in fact, in this conversation, I really want to emphasize that there is a type of charisma that is not just the charisma that people think that you get if you're gifted, that you were just gifted with this attractiveness, whether it's voice or stereotypical appearance or something like that. Now, as a feature film director, I've worked with very physically attractive people who look like movie stars. And the idea here is some people look stereotypically attractive and they still develop their personality and they're friendly. They don't just rely on looking good. Some people, if they only rely on looking good, don't have what I call warm trust charisma, where people feel that they can trust them, they can count on them. Another form of charisma I like to emphasize is natural charm charisma. And we introverts have this. When we're really good with listening one-on-one with one person there, we are demonstrating natural charm charisma. It's something that we do naturally. Really paying attention. Just like what you're doing there, Johanna. And so by really paying attention to one person, that's a type of charisma. And it's a fantastic charisma. And it can even be used when you give a speech. Because you can connect with someone to the right of the stage, someone to the left of the stage, someone in the middle. And when you're talking with one person and you're being fully present and you're carrying, the audience goes, wow, this is a terrific person. A person not about ego, but a person about connection. I want to share three main ideas or methods under the umbrella of AIM, A-I-M. Every letter stands for a method. The first one we're going to talk about is agree and wonder. What happens is when you're talking with someone and you want them to feel connected to you, as soon as you can say sincerely, I agree, it really lowers their tension level. Perhaps, Johanna, you've noticed this, that when two people come together, both of them want to talk. Both of them want to prove their point. As soon as you say, oh yeah, about the 1, 2, 3, I agree, that person goes, one less thing I have to prove. And that takes away some of the tension. So you agree, but sincerely. If you're faking it, we can feel something is off. We don't always know what that is. Subconsciously, we feel something is off. So if you don't agree, you can't say, I agree. But see if there's something that you can agree about. I agree it's an important detail. I agree that we should really look at this. Now, the second part of agree and wonder is you can shift so that you can ask a good question by saying, I wonder, what's most important to you about this? So you say, I wonder, or you can say, I'm curious. What are your feelings about the 1, 2, 3? Either with wonder or curious, you're able to alert yourself, even your subconscious mind, that I'm looking for a question that's really going to create a connection. Now, the second thing we have here is I, which is intensify how they convince themselves. Now, we're talking about how you can enhance your charisma to get people to say yes. Now, I've noticed this. Perhaps maybe you've noticed this, Johanna. When you really care about somebody, have you ever pushed them towards something?
I've tried to push and fix a past boyfriend.
I'm with you. When you really care, and probably you care for the person, but you also care about your life together, you're thinking that if this doesn't get better, we're in trouble. Now, this also happens like about health situations. For example, a couple of my dearest friends smoke. And I'm not going to be able to help them let that go unless they want to. So the point of I is intensify how they convince themselves is about something I call soft-hearted persuasion. When you push somebody, I call that hard-headed convincing. And so soft-hearted persuasion is to ask something like, so, on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready are you to start exercising? And if they say, 4, then you say, why isn't it a 2? And then the person comes back with, what? And then they say, well, I guess I didn't say 2 because I would like to be alive so I could walk down the aisle with my daughter for when she gets married. They're talking. They're convincing themselves. You're not saying logic. You know, if you keep up with these unhealthy habits, you're going to die and probably not be there for your daughter's wedding. Hard-headed convincing does not work. Hard-headed convincing creates unnecessary resistance. So we want none of that. What we want to do is just say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready are you to whatever? And then they'll come back with a number, and then you can just help them see for themselves what their reasons are. Hard-headed convincing, the thing that we are saying is not useful, is when you try to use logic and push your reasons on them. Soft-hearted persuasion is when you access and give them a chance to voice what's important to them. Now, M of AIM is magnify a story. So telling a story is really where we are able to help somebody have an experience, and then they'll get it. They'll understand it. They'll feel it. We magnify a story by definitely having a hero that a person can relate to. Then we go on to making sure that we know what their goal is. We have to be able to root for them. We need to know what their goal is. And ultimately, we want to know where the triumphant ending is. And what did the person learn? A story like this, if you're communicating, when you use stories, you can be more charismatic because people are connecting to you on an emotional level, not just on using logic. There's an old phrase that said, facts just tell, stories sell. So when you want someone to say yes to you, when you want to enhance your charisma so that people say yes to you, what you want is to use stories. Now I have a bonus. So it's not just AIM, but it's AIMS, because we're wanting to be a person who aims to communicate and connect and get yes. S is set their permission. What I mean by that is that, and I've seen this with my own coaches, in order for me to go someplace in the conversation, they'll say, hey, how about we go back to the thing you said, that A-B part. They get my permission to go back there. I say, yeah, okay, fine. Or how about we go deeper and we look at what's bothering you about this? Yeah, sure. And by doing that, one is more charismatic because you're engaging the person. You're not talking at them. You're not dragging them places where they don't give you permission to go. And this works very much in terms of a sales situation. This works very much in terms of talking with a family member and saying, would you be okay with if we talk about that issue from last week? You know, we said that we would talk more about the AB issue. And what happens is by setting their permission, you're creating a respectful interaction. By the way, now is time for a Marcoux moment. This is where I share an excerpt from one of the 47 books up on Amazon. These are books I've written. The book for this episode is Amazing You. Enjoy the power to get it done, get stronger, get credit for it. On page 65, this is the method number 3 for increasing your strength. I thought of this phrase. That was chapter 1 of my life. I'm living in chapter 2. Now, have you noticed that some people are stuck in the past? On the other hand, others are overcoming the past. These people spread their wings and take to the sky. One of my favorite quotes is, in truth, I am a verb, from author Steve Chandler. When you are a verb, you are not stuck. You don't fruitlessly pine for the past. You are present focused. If you lost something important, you still cherish what is good in this present moment. So that is an excerpt from the book, Amazing You. Enjoy the power to get it done, get stronger, get credit for it.
I feel amazing.
Well, speaking of amazing, I am curious. And in fact, I even wonder.
Oh, you wonder, huh?
Well, remember AIM and A was agree and wonder. So I wonder what you're going to keep from this conversation.
I really thought that the hard-headed convincing was a very interesting concept. Instead, you focused on soft-hearted persuasion, how you ask questions and help them voice their reasons.
Well, that's excellent. Thank you, Johanna.
Thank you, Tom.
For articles and videos, go to getthebigyes.com. Also, visit yourbodysoulandprosperity.com. We're glad that you heard this broadcast, and we invite you to
Click to subscribe.
and then you'll be supporting me and Johanna and our message.
And so now remember,
Introverts can show their best self with strategy.
I'm Johanna McLeod.
I'm Tom Marcoux.
Thank you.
Be well.
Bye.